Hey Perla, we have a non-Western project due Monday on Japanese art.
Oh yeah, I know that the Japanese are intelligent and strong people. The country is also beautiful. We're supposed to talk about Japanese art.
Japanese art? The only thing that comes to mind is anime, like Pokemon and Death Note.
Oh, and Sailor Moon too.
Mamma mia!
What? Oh no, Perla. That's just like Hello Kitty and Domo. We're supposed to talk about traditional art.
What? Traditional art? I don't know anything about that.
Hey Nancy and Perla, I can't tell you what to put on your presentation.
What?
Who said that?
Me. Your APR history book.
How can you help us?
Well, I can tell you some information,
Wow, really? Like what, Look?
like Japanese art history after 1392. Let's get started. The Muromachi period, also known as Ashikaga period 1392 to 1573, marked by the ascendance of Zen Buddhism, whose ideals particularly appealed to the highly disciplined samurai. Zen, patronized by the samurai, became the dominant cultural force in Japan. In 1338, the Ashikaga family gained control of the shogunate general-in-chief and moved its headquarters to the Muromachi district in Kyoto. In 1392 they reunited northern and southern Japan and retained their grasp on the office for more than 150 years.
Awesome!
Whoa! What else can you tell us?
Ink painting.
What is ink painting?
Ink painting. Monochrome painting in black ink and eluded grace. One of the several forms of visual arts that flourished on the Muromachi period. Heavily influenced by the aesthetics of Zen, landscapes became the most important theme for ink painting.
Sweet! Landscape? My grandpa had a landscape painting. It was pretty famous. I forgot what it's called though. Do you know what I'm talking about, Book?
Oh, yes. Nancy. Your grandpappy's painting was called Landscape by Bunsei, ha ha ha. Landscape by Bunsei. Shogun was regarded as Japan's first great master landscape painter. Unfortunately no works survive that can be proven to be his. Two landscape paintings by Shogun's pupil, Bunsei, have survived. The foreground reveals a spit of rocky lands with an overlapping series of motifs: a spiky pine tree, a craggy rock, a poet seated in a hermitage, and a brushwood fence holding back a small garden of trees and bamboo. In the middle ground is space, emptiness, and void.
Wow, this is amazing! Can you tell us more?
Yes. I will tell you about the Momoyama period. The very word Momoyama conjures up images of bold warriors, luxurious palaces, screens shimmering with gold leaf, and magnificent ceramics. The battles between clans grew more frequent and it became more clear that only the feudal lord, or daimyo, powerful enough to unite the entire country could control Japan. As the Muromachi period came to a close, Nobunaga, Toyotomi, Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu were three great leaders that emerged to change the course of Japanese history. This was the era when Europeans first made an impact in Japan.
Wow, tell us more! We're so fascinated!
It is time for Japanese Architecture 101 Tihi. European weapons soon changed the nature of Japanese warfare and influenced architecture. In response to the new weapons, fortified castles were built. Some were eventually lost to warfare or torn down by victorious enemies. The Himeji Castle.
Cool!
One of the most beautiful surviving castles not far from the city of Osaka. To reach the upper fortress, visitors follow angular patterns of stairs like traveling through a maze, feeling lost with no sense of direction. After all the climbing, visitors are rewarded the 360-degree view of the countryside. Next, Edo period. Under the rule of the Tokugawa family, Japan was peaceful. They didn't want any people to leave Japan or foreigners coming in with the exception of traders. Therefore, they isolated themselves. The society was split into 4 classes. Samurai was the highest, farmers, artisans, merchants. The classes were not important anymore and was now based on reading and writing as time went on.
Sweet!
The Great Wave by Katsushika Hokusai from 36 Views of Mount Fuji Edo period 1831. The Great Wave rears up on the dragon who claws of foam, ready to crash down on the figures huddled in the boat below. Exactly at the point of we suddenly realize a great resemblance to the Great Wave. Made of polychrome with block print on paper. Now let's take an adventure to Mount Fuji. This is one of Japan's 3 holy mountains along with Mount Tate. The first ascent was in 663 by an anonymous monk. The summit has been thought of as sacred since ancient times and was forbidden to women until the Meiji era. Let's talk about the Japanese tea ceremony. The tea ceremony was a way of bringing people together. Every utensil used was appreciated for their aesthetic qualities.
Okay, this is how to make green tea, and you're gonna make your own tea later. This kind of forms you have to make. It's like a cappuccino, very fine forms. Because I use tea powder, which is powder really. So you don't wanna eat any chunk of powder. It's very bitter. So you have to use your wrist and quickly move your wrist and make a lot of forms. And when you drink, this is a very important thing. This is a teacup, but this is the most beautiful part of the teacup. You don't want to mess it up. So when you drink, you have to avoid rotating a teacup twice, counterclockwise. Bow, and then sip. You don't have to drink whole thing, but maybe it's good chance for you to just sip. How bitter it is. Okay. And this is the most beautiful part, so don't forget that. That's a very important thing. You don't want to mess it up the area. And also, we have sweets today called dorayaki. It's a Japanese pancake and sweet beans inside. So if you want to try it, we eat very sweet before we drink bitter green tea. So that's a combination we enjoy. Do you have any question about how to make tea or anything? Yes?
How long does it usually take for you to learn that?
Learn? It's a lifelong learning. So you cannot finish.
Like, I mean,
So-
like a couple of years or like just your entire
Just
life?
to learn this, maybe 3 months.
Oh.
But you know, we have to learn so many things. Also, you have to learn those flower arrangement, and you have to know pottery. So it's like lifelong learning. So my teachers, they're like 90, still learning a lot of things.
Awesome!
The Meiji period marked a huge change in Japanese history. After long periods of isolation, Japan was deluged by the influx of the West. Western culture were all adopted rapidly into Japanese culture.
Cool!
The modern Japan. Japanese art expresses high levels of sophistication of religion and secular art, love of natural materials, the taste of asymmetry, and a sense of humor. In pursuing to become a modern industrialized country, Japan did not lose its sense of tradition. In modern Japan, artists still choose whether to work in an Eastern or Western style, or combine the two. Today Japanese woodblock prints from the 18th and 19th century are collected around the world, but back then they were barely considered art. Japonism, the style of French and American 19th century art that was highly influenced by Japanese art, especially prints. Here are some examples of Japanese food.
Mom! Dad! Come on, quit eating! Let's get out of here! Mom! Dad! Where are you?
Here are some examples of Japanese fashion.
much more